sixes to the fields. One voice cuts through, giving you the real. He broke the stories, he started to fight. Lost the whole game back in 86, never retired. Heroes crown him, yeah, they call him the king. Fur coat flashing, bling bling in every ring. He's the hardest working, great talking dog. Call in with your tape, but don't get it wrong. He'll call you a nitwit if you're acting a fool, but deep down you love it, that's the Eskin rule. Riding with the king, yeah, we're riding with the king. Howard Eskin show, let the truth ring. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, he knows the deal. Philly sports royalty, bow down and kneel. Riding with the king, put your hands in the air. From South Philly streets to the Delaware. No filter, no fear, just the facts on the mic. It's the Howard Eskin show. Let's go get signed. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king.
And welcome as you're riding with the king on the Howard Eskin show. I see already we have our listener from Las Vegas, Maxi fan. It's just it's interesting how there's people from all over the country. I got a story about some people, Eagles fans in Dallas today, but I want to welcome you. There's a lot to talk about. Another great guest tonight, that would be Don Mattingly, with the baseball season starting as we're doing this show live on Wednesday, starts on Thursday, the opening of the season for the Phillies. And I do want to thank our presenting sponsor, and that would be Jeff Stillwell Financial Advisors. He's been awarded the annual recognition program, a Circle of Success, for his great work with his clients from Ameriprise Financial. Jeff was actually in Dallas today. I spoke with him, saw some people with Eagles jerseys on, went up to him, and they're Eagles fans in Dallas, and they listen to the podcast. So that was great. But Jeff's got clients all over the country, and he does great work for his clients. That's why he's gotten the Circle of Success Annual Recognition Award. If you want to get in touch with him, there's the number, 732-343-0813. 732-343-0813. He's established himself as very, very good, obviously, with his clients, and he's a great guy too. All right, there's a lot that we're going to talk about tonight. Tonight, the focus will be obviously the opening of the baseball season with our guest, Don Mattingly. Former great, and I want to make some comparisons. He's not in the Hall of Fame, and when I look at his numbers, he should be, but we'll talk about that. I also feel like I have to address a story that I didn't know it would create this outrage or this constant stories. I have to address sports talk radio story and the most recent departure from WIP, another layoff or firing, call it what you want. I'll get to that. More Eagles news with one-year contracts, news on the tush push in case you care about that. It just we'll do a lot of things along those lines, and we'll talk to Don Mattingly. But before I do that, I do want to tell you about our other partners, Thomas Chevrolet. Thomas Chevrolet, a family-owned business, and that's important if they treat you like family, which they do. 38 years takes a lot to be in business. 38 years. They've been in business 38 years. 1263 West Baltimore Pike. Straight deals. Great vehicles. It's Corvette season, and they are a certified Corvette specialist dealer. They got the Equinox, the Silverado, the Traverse, and the Tahoe, and they've got a great selection of pre-owned cars. And as you might see, if you're watching it on the screen, up to $14,000 in savings available, 0% APR financing available, up to 60 months. Great service department. They'll service any vehicle that you might, stroll in with, and they will take care of it for you. Good guys in the service department. They're just a terrific dealership. with really, really nice vehicles, really great vehicles. 1263 West Baltimore Pike in Media. Give them a call or stop by. It's 610 566 8600, 610 566 8600, or check them out on the internet, thomaschevy.com. Also, another one of our proud partners and a great sponsor, Piazza Property Pros, another business that obviously is very good because they've been in business for 25 years of experience. They can give you a vision. You want to get a pool, they can give you a vision virtually to see what your backyard will look like. You want to do your front, they can do the front. They can do a virtual scanning of that and let you know what it looks like. They do all kinds of great stuff. When I say 25 years of experience, and they don't subcontract, Piazza Property Pros. They can do pool maintenance. Hey, if you want to build a pool, you better get in soon and decide that what you're going to do, because a lot of people are doing that, and it kind of backs up when they can start building your pool, whether it's pool maintenance, landscaping, fencing, hardscaping. They can do it all. 610 566 2608. Schedule a free consultation. That's 610 566 2608, or visit piazzaoutdoor.com. All right. I want to announce what our prize tonight is. Listen to and when you listen to Don Mattingly, I'm going to come up with a question after we're done. And the prize to give away tonight, if you answer the question correctly, is a Mike Schmidt autographed baseball. We'll talk. We'll talk baseball after Don Mattingly, more baseball. But and I've got some things I want to discuss. But the baseball, you can win it going to my answer the question correctly. I'll give you the question after I'm done with Don Mattingly. Go to the contact page at howardeskin.com by midnight Friday, March 27th. Watch the show on Saturday, March 28th. That's this Saturday, 8 a.m. to see if you've won live. That would be on X, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. The winner will be chosen, randomly chosen from all correct entries. Another great guest, and with baseball season ready to rock and roll, I brought on somebody that should be in the Hall of Fame. I want to get into this. New Phillies coach, former manager, that would be former Yankee, that would be Don Mattingly. So, Don, thanks for joining the program. I know you're kind of running around and doing stuff at the ballpark.
Yeah.
But the thing that I look at, you started your career in the major leagues, correct? In 1982, no minor leagues. Is that correct?
No. I came out of the minor leagues in '82.
Oh, okay.
In that September call up.
Oh, okay. So you were in on the Yankees, and so you've had you've had a lot of years of opening day.
Right.
The start of the season means what to you?
Well, I think it's the start of a book, right? You start to read the book, you kind of know some of the. This is like a sequel for Philadelphia, right? You got a good ball club. A lot of the characters. There's a couple of new faces we're going to add in this twist. I guess I'm one of those, but I'm not going to affect the games, to be honest with you, very, very much. But I think we don't know what's going to happen. Each year's special in a different way, right? This team won 96 games last year. It's a good club. Can we, we get to the World Series a couple years ago. Everybody's looking to get back there, right? The window doesn't stay open forever, right? There's going to be down periods, but this is a club that's capable of winning the World Series. So I think, obviously, in a city like Philadelphia, that's the goal. And that's part of the book.
When I look at Toronto last year, you were with the Blue Jays last year. They were really, I mean, the Dodgers had maybe the best players, financially, money wise, but I think Toronto was the best team. Now, the one thing that Toronto did, and the Dodgers did it too, they put the ball in play. Analytics say, well, it doesn't matter about strikeouts. Well, putting the ball in play, something happens. You move runners. Is that something that the Phillies hadn't done a lot of that, especially in the playoffs? So is that something that you saw that was emphasized more this spring training?
Well, I think you want to have good quality at bats. And you talk about Toronto, and everybody said, "Hey, we put the ball in play." Well, we put the ball in play the year before too, and we're in last place. And last year we hit some homers in Toronto with that, right? And formed a team. And I think Philly, it should be the same, right? You got a lot of good hitters. There's times you need to put the ball in play, but you still have to hit the ball in the seats, right? That's how you win a lot of games. That's how you can get back in a game or put a game away. That homer always helps, but I think there's a lot of ways to win a game, and sometimes that's moving a runner from second to third and getting him in from there, right? That's a run, and you show the numbers show if we can get 5 runs a night, we're going to win like 95 to 6 games, right?
And
And
that's the most important thing. I think on the Phillies, when I looked at the team, I've always liked Alec Bohm, and I don't know if he's going to be with the Phillies after this year because it's the last year of his contract. And the Philly Aiden Miller is going to be up at some point, so he'll most likely be the Phillies' third baseman. I love the way Alec Bohm makes contact. He'll hit some home runs and he'll make contact. Uh, but it might be when I look at the lineup of the Phillies, and again, you're just only spring training. I don't know that he's not the best contact hitter on the Phillies right now.
no, Alex a really good hitter. So I'm with you, and I look at Alec as like the blessing of contact is the curse, because whatever he swings at, he's going to put in play. So it's those, what you don't want to see out of Alec is early swing, ground ball to third. You know what I mean, or a roller in the infield. You want him to get a good swing off, be aggressive, and use that good contact in a good area for him. Uh, So the blessing of putting the ball in play sometimes is when you swing, you put it in play. And it's probably better sometimes to swing and miss, get to another pitch, right? And then get yourself something better to hit. So the key for him is probably going to be to get in his zone, understand what it is, be aggressive in that area, and not just put the ball in play, put the ball in play hard.
When you obviously in your career, a good hitter, 307 lifetime hitter, which is really pretty good, but people don't look at the average as much anymore.
Right.
However, when you hit the two strike approach, and I've talked to baseball people and I've talked to Larry Bowa about it. And, Larry would choke up and have a two strike approach. Is that missing a little bit more? And I know the game changes. I get it. And people say, oh, old man like yelling on the lawn. That's such BS. The game was great. The game can be great, and you got to do a lot of the right things. Is that missing a lot in baseball today? A two strike approach or choking up on the bat?
I think a little bit, right? I think you have to have we talk about there's all different situations in the game, and there's times you need to put the ball in play. So you need to have that club in your bag that, hey, I can put this ball in play. I can figure a way how to put it in play, right? It doesn't matter who that is at times, right? So I'd say it's probably went away a little bit because of what we've asked of guys. When you say we're going to reward you for home runs and extra base hits, and we are not we're not really going to, it's not too bad if you strike out more, right? When the game tells you, the people that pay you tell you that's okay, that's what guys are going to do. So if we say, hey, we like the guy that puts the ball in play a little bit more, uh, walks a little bit more, strikes out a little bit less, then that's what these guys will do.
Years ago, I looked at players' numbers in spring training, and somebody said to me, same thing with football. Yeah, you don't. It does. Numbers in spring training really don't matter because it's spring training. Got players are working on certain things, pitchers are working on certain things, but uh, Trey Turner, uh, and I don't know what it means. He hit like 133 in spring training. And I know he's a good hitter. He's a good hitter. Everybody knows he's a good hitter. Was he working on something, or was it just one of those spring trainings that a lot of players that have played a while, let's just get to the season? Was it any one of those things?
I think it's a lot of the latter. I think guys are working on stuff. They know it doesn't matter. You could probably look up Trey's numbers from the last 7, 8 years, and they're probably similar, right? Once he gets established, guys like him, Schwartz. I think Schwartz had an awful spring training last year. Season's great. George Springer, awful spring training last year. Season was great. So I think spring training for guys that know they're going to be there, they're in a sense getting ready for the grind of the season, and that's when it really turns on. You would like to see them hit the ball hard, have good at bats. Less important for those guys than say an Otto Kemp, or you want to see those guys. You don't want to see him hit 100 because he thinks he has to get ready and he has to get his hits.
Right.
He's putting more of an importance on it. It's kind of like teams that, like, let's say teams that are not expected to do well, they have good records in spring training. It means kind of nothing, right? Those are the teams that are, you got 8 guys fighting for jobs. There's competition all over the field. Uh, obviously in Philly with this lineup and this club, there's maybe a couple spots open. That's where the competition is. That's who's the ones that are really more important to see how they're doing.
Don, are you a fan of analytics, or you look at it more as a guide than the rule?
Oh, I'd say probably more of a guide. I think we've always looked at statistics, right? You've been in baseball, been around baseball a long time. We've always looked at stats and how a guy does. Just to have more of them now, right? We know if guys running good routes in the outfield. In the past, you would watch a guy and say, "This guy's a pretty good outfielder," and now they can either disprove that or it says, "Yeah, he is a good outfielder. He gets good jumps. He gets good reads. He runs good routes." So there's information there that's really good. I think you have to balance it with a competitor. There's all sides of this baseball that we're playing. Uh, so it's not the end all tell all, but information is good in general.
All right, Don, you've been a manager, you've been a coach, uh, and obviously there's different roles for you as the manager. You assign people to do things. Now you're assigned to help Rob Thompson. What's the difference between being a manager and being a coach on a baseball team?
Well, it depends what your role is. I think that, like in my role as a bench coach, it's similar to a manager. I want to prepare for that game like I would if I was managing it. So I'm walking along and through this game and with Tomps, right, and knowing what he likes to do or doesn't like to do, making sure I'm paying attention to everything because there's times when he's like worried about who he going to next inning, who he pitching, and I'm like, hey, do we want to pinch run here? Do you want to pinch hit here? It's coming up, right? What do you want to do? So he's got a lot going on. He's trying to make decisions in different areas. So that's kind of my role, is to help him and be another set of eyes and ears. Me and Cal the same way. Let's say an infield coach, his job is to prepare his infielders,
Right.
and be in the right spots. And he's got positioning. So those are all different roles. Hitting is working on the hitting side of it. Uh, Outfield, Paco, base running. So we all have different roles within the group. Pitching coaches obviously are working on different things, but we all working to, for a common goal, right? To make this thing come together and be successful. But just like any other sport, we all have our areas that we work, and each role is a little different.
Obviously, the bench coach and the manager kind of want to be on the same page most of the time. You're an aide, because he's looking at other things. You're looking at certain things. How important is it to have the same philosophy and be on the same page with your manager as a bench coach?
In general, I think it's really important. You want a guy there next to you that you trust,
Right.
but also you also want I want that guy to be suggestive too. It's another set of eyes and ears. It's up to me to say, hey, Toms, do you want to bunt here, or do you want to? This guy's a good hit and run guy. You want action, or and if and he's like, we're good, then we're good. He's the manager. He makes that call. If we're going to, he's wanting to go somewhere. What do you like between this guy and that guy in the bullpen this time with Caleb? You have your opinion. You give it, and he makes it a call, right? Because he has to answer the questions after the game.
Right.
Media, it's on him. He's got to talk to Dave, but we're there to aid him, suggest, uh, give him a different, maybe it's a little different thought process than he has at that moment. But he decides, he may say, hey, I kind of like that. Let's do that, right?
Today's you knew Rob Thompson before you came here, right?
Right.
All right. So it took you a while, for whatever reason. I don't know if it was a while, it was the right timing to decide to come to the Phillies. You, I assume, wanted to try to see if there was another manager's job open. Am I correct in that, looking at that? Or you just wanted to kind of settle back and see what you wanted to do?
I just want to settle back. I was not looking for another managing job for sure. I really do think, Howard, that time has kind of passed me by. I don't know if I'm going to be 65 this year. Um,
That's not old, Don. That's
no, I don't. I
not.
don't feel old. I feel good, but I don't feel like I'm up to, dealing with the press every day, both sides of it, talking about the club, having to have a conversation with guys all spring training. Got Dave going on and Preston and whoever talking about different things. Now you're into the off season. You're doing the same. I'm kind of past that point. Uh, so I was just kind of waiting to make sure I was willing to go both feet in. That's the main thing. I thought last year was probably my last year with Toronto. I went into it like that. My 11-year-old's like, Dad, he was having such a good time in the playoffs and all that. He's like, you can't quit this. You got to keep going. And I'm sitting there going, I don't know. So it's kind of like one of those things that you're like, what do you have to be willing to jump in, right? If you're going to do it, right? There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of positives for me. Good club, right? Dave Dave made me feel like there was a need for
Right.
me in this club, on this club. Obviously Preston's here. Being on it, being that's kind of a blessing as a curse too, right? You're working for your son, but you get a chance to be with him and be on the same team and fight for the same goal. That is kind of cool, right? In today's game, that's easier in the roles that we're both in, right? Because the front offices are more around the club, in the clubhouse. So that's an easier thing. And they know I'm not running up to my son and going, hey, this guy's doing this. This guy, never would that happen. But I think guys know that now.
Your son, for people who don't know, your son's an executive on the Phillies. Did he have any influence for you to come to the Phillies? Because maybe he didn't want to stop you being a part of baseball.
Uh, Not in those terms. Not in those terms. He
Mm-hmm.
influenced me the fact that he's here, right?
Right.
And that we're on the same club. And I knew I've watched the Phillies. I've been in this division managing. This is a good team. This is a talented club, right? The one thing I didn't want to do is go somewhere where we're trying to rebuild and we don't have a chance to win it, right? I'm too old for that, for sure. I don't want to do that. But so he influenced me from the standpoint of being on his team, right? And being with him because he's been calling me for the last 10 years, telling me, you should pick this guy up. You should pick that guy up. And I'm like, Press, I'm not the general manager. I'm just managing the team, right? So I've been listening to that for a long time, but now we're on the same team. And I guess I kind of have to listen.
Well, Bill Parcells made the comment, which is, comment that lives. It's a quote. Hey, if I'm going to be, what is it? If I'm going to be the chef, I want to know what's in the kitchen or puts whatever. I'm
At least be able to
paraphrasing.
pick out the groceries, right?
Yeah, right. Pick out the groceries.
Right.
So shouldn't the manager have some kind of influence on maybe, hey, you're looking at the player. And I think we need to get this player. And during spring training, teams look at a lot of players, I'm sure.
Right.
Guys get released, look at players, and it's still not over until the trade deadline. Shouldn't the managers and you as a bench coach, former manager, have some input with Dave Dombrowski for future players on the Phillies?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Some. I think this kind of goes back to balanced, right? And Dave's obviously been a great general manager for a long time and had some really good teams, championship teams, right? And it's just twofold, Howard. They're trying to build a team, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they have different views of, I need depth. What if this happens? If I lose a starter, if I have an injury at second base, where are we going? What are we going to do? So they're building all that. As you're asking us as coaches, we're going through this, which guy you like? Well, I like this guy because he can really hit, right? Or we just like him for whatever reason,
Right.
right? And we don't necessarily think about depth and building and what ifs and all that type of thing. So I do think it's fair to be balanced and to ask your manager what he likes and ask your coaches what they think about players, because that's where I think the fight really becomes between analytics, and I don't even want to say it's a fight anymore because it's really not. It's where the rub comes in though, of, hey, we love this guy. This guy's competitive. He's tough. We like him, right? Because we know he's tough, and anything we ask him to do, he's going to be ready for. And the other side kind of comes in with, well, his sprint speed is this. He's in this category of outfield players. So it's a balance, right? There's different things that, as a competitive coach, you love for your ball club,
Mm-hmm.
culture of your team, and the toughness of it that you look for in a club.
When you look at the season and you say, well, you weren't sure whether you wanted to come back. 162. Now, everybody, well, you can't consider you're just automatically going to be in the playoffs, but
Right.
it's a good baseball team. But it's
Right.
162 games. How tough does that get every year? You're coming out of spring training, you got 162 until you really play for the ultimate prize. How difficult is that when you've been in the game as long as you have?
The games are not difficult at all. The games are the exciting part. They're the what bring you back. So, like grinding out 100, and I call it grinding out because I think it is. It's a grind.
Yeah, it is.
Grinding out 162 games is, I gotta get myself here. Grinding out 162 game is mentally beat you up. But I like that because I think that's where the toughness of your ball club comes in. I like this is an everyday business. Grind out games, grind out at bats, keep going, keep getting ready. And on the other end of that is keep getting on a plane, keep bus, keep going into a hotel, check out of a hotel. As you get older, that's what really beats you up. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, I got an 11-year-old, should I want to go to his games, right? So the the field is what I love. That part's easy. It's the rest of that grind for me that's tough, that I'm, on the road, getting all that stuff that beats you up a little bit.
It's funny you said that. I was a sideline reporter for the Eagles for 15 years, traveled with the team, and the hotels were the worst part. You get in, you're not even there 24 hours, and you're out. You're at the game, and then you're back on a plane. Football, they leave the day before, but it's the hotels in and out. I don't even know sometimes what cities I'm in. Is it kind of like that sometimes?
Oh, for sure. I think baseball's different than the football because, like you said, they fly in, are there a day, play the game, fly home. We fly out, we're gone 10 days, we're in 3 different hotels. And by the time you get to that third hotel, you get on the elevator and go, what room am I in? I'm not quite sure because I've already 624, 813, right? Whatever it is. And that third hotel, you're like, you better have a system. Like, I got to keep the card in my back pocket that has the thing on it. And so I know what room I'm in.
When Philadelphia, the town, I'm sure, you and Boa have been friends for a long time and worked together. He was a coach with you. I'm sure he's told you a little bit about Philadelphia. these people, the regular season is fine, but until they achieve and just get to the World Series, these people are ruthless. And I'm sure you've heard that these fans are ruthless. Are you ready? And you won't hear it as much as Rob Thompson hears it and the players hear it. But are you ready for that in Philadelphia?
I think so. I mean, I played New York too, and it's not exactly a soft city, right? And I think the one thing about playing in a city like Philly, or I'm going to say Boston or New York, is that you better have expectations on yourself that are so high that if you mess up, you know it. If I mess up a play and I did the wrong, and I'm not swinging the bat well, or I'm not pitching well, hey, I'm the first one to know it. So if they want to get on me, I'm on myself harder than you're on me, right? So I think that expectation is a good thing, and I think playing in a tough city is good for guys because you don't go resting on last year's numbers. You better bring it today. And if you've had a good 3 weeks or a good first half, and we're into that second half, and you're leaving runners out there all the time, and we're not winning, they're going to let you know because those games are these are big games we're playing, right? So I think it's great, and I look forward to it. Um, I think as players, you got to keep the balance of like
Right.
understanding. I got to go out, grind, take care of my business, do my job. I know fans are there and they're going to get on you. You can't really listen to too much of that. You got to be hard on yourself. So you're not the fans getting on you is just you've already beat yourself up because you're not getting the job done.
Well, some of the players responded to the fans. I remember Alec Boehm did it, and he realized after a while that was a mistake. And other players on the team did it. I remember Mike Schmidt always used to get because he didn't look like he played hard enough. It's a joke. The guy's only the best third baseman that ever played the game, and these fans are just brutal on him. So one day he said something about the fans, and then came out in a wig to play the next day, kind of like having a little fun as a disguise. But they can be tough, and if a team's going through a bad stretch or a player's going through a bad stretch, is there advice that you can give them? Hey, listen, this is just the way it is, because you've been through it. Obviously, your career was great. I'm going to get into that after this. Is there a way you can share some experiences with the players of having to deal with that?
Well, I think every towns like this, I just don't think you. I used to say nobody gets out alive, right? You're never going to play 10 years here and not get booed or not have the fans on you at different times. But I also think these fans understand good baseball and,
Yep.
and athletes and good teams, right? So they also see that. So at the end of the day, like your struggle to a certain point, to me, I've seen these fans in these types of cities that will actually pick a guy up and say, "We got you."
All right. So if there's
Right,
one thing about this team,
right.
they didn't get to the ultimate goal. Um, when you've looked back, what is it? And you've probably looked at the team in the past. What is it that the Phillies have to do for them to get to just get to the World Series, and then anything can happen? What is it that this team has to do?
I think we have to do everything, everything.
Gee,
And when I say that, I mean we got to play our best baseball, right? We want to get to our best baseball, and that means, pitchers are getting ahead in counts, and pitchers are on the attack, and infielders are doing their job, and we're playing all games. We're running the base. We're throwing the ball to the right base. It's a lot of boring stuff, right? You don't want to talk about, but as a coach, if we're backing up bases, if we're throwing the ball to the right base, we're making the right play. We're playing situational baseball. All I care about for this team is that we play our best baseball. And then we got to like you get to the playoffs, you can't think about the playoffs. That comes after you did a lot of work to get there.
mhm.
And when you get there, I've been in the playoffs like 12 or 13, 14 times with different teams and good teams and have not won at all. Last year, obviously the closest, get to the last inning with an out, make
Right.
don't get it. So stuff's got to go your way a little bit. right? The ball's got to bounce. You see those teams that win, the ball bounces. The Dodgers series, the ball gets stuck under a wall that didn't get stuck under a wall all year long. Little things happen that bounce, ball bounces. So we've got to play our best baseball, be obsessed with that. Um, and then we got to be able to do that in the playoffs, right? And do the same thing.
All right, I'm going to go over your career, and I look at these numbers, and I'm saying, why the hell is Don Mattingly not in the Hall of Fame? All right, you played 14 years. You had a 307 lifetime average for people that don't know. Over 2,153 hits, 9 Gold Gloves, which is not chopped liver, 6 All-Star games. And from 84 to 89, you averaged 27 homers, 114 RBIs. One year you hit 343. That was what, 84. You were an MVP in 85. I don't understand. Why are you not in the Hall of Fame?
I probably didn't play long enough. I think Hall of Fame is part of longevity, being better for longer. You mentioned a period of time in there that I was really, really good. And then, I, for whatever reason, I wasn't as good later in my career. I got banged up. That's what I'll say. I know I hurt my back and I was not really this, I couldn't do the same things. And I think that doesn't matter, right? You didn't do the same thing. So I probably wasn't good enough long enough. And that's kind of way it's played out. Uh, I don't know.
But most guys now
Well,
don't play
I know, right?
more
That's
than
all you have.
Well, wait a minute. You played 14 years. Most guys now don't play more than, especially with the money, they don't play more than 14 to 16 years unless you're LeBron James and you're just trying to pile numbers on the stat sheet. But most baseball players, it's a tough game. I mean, physically, obviously, there's a lot of games. But when you look at these numbers and you look at some of the players, and I'm not going to mention names after you're done, after we're done, we'll be done. And this is going to be done after I discuss this. Uh, I'm going to talk about it. How players, I know they need players every year to go up to Cooperstown, and I've been up there. It's a great drive from here to there, and I used to go up with Mike Schmidt all the time when he went up there and his induction, and it was just wonderful. But the players that get in nowadays don't even have close to these numbers. I don't get it. They just accept people being in, and it's just, hey, listen. When I looked at these numbers, I knew you were a hell of a player, great player for the Yankees for those years that you played with the Yankees, your career. But it's mind-boggling to me that you, Don Mattingly, are not in the Hall of Fame. And I used to talk to those people a lot. If I ever see any of them, are you? And I don't know. You probably are up for some veterans committee at some time, but because everybody gets there, if you don't eventually get into the Hall of Fame, it's a crime. It's a crime.
Howard, I appreciate that. But, here's the one thing. I think I look at it like this game has blessed me in a way. I've been able to take care of a family, raise family, still continue to be in it. I've been blessed, man, and I am not going to be negative one bit towards it. If it happens one day, great. It's not going to change me one way or the other. I'm going to treat people with respect. People treat me great. And again, this game has been really good to me.
Well, you can't take the numbers out of those record books. Those numbers are those numbers, and
But
that's a good thing.
no, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. But, again, it is what it is.
Hey, Don, I appreciate your time and thanks so much. And you're a gentleman, besides a great ball player, and getting to know you over the years, I've noticed that. I always look at a player or former player and say, what kind of person is he? We know what he can do on the field. What kind of person is he? And just because you're a great player doesn't mean you're a great person. You are a wonderful, wonderful person and a terrific human being. Good luck this year with the Phillies. And, every once in a while you can disagree with Rob Thompson. Hey, Rob, no, we can't do that. I got to do this.
All right. I appreciate you having me on.
Okay. No, my pleasure. And thanks so much, Don. Take care.
All right.
Have a great day and a great season.
All right. Thank you.
Don Mattingly. I'm telling you, it's a crime with these numbers based on who's getting in the Hall of Fame now. And I'm going to talk about that very shortly. First, let me take care of some really important things. And one of those important things is our presenting sponsor, Stillwell Financial Advisors, and Jeff Stillwell. Great job. Talk about wonderful people and a great job. Jeff Stillwell is that guy. And that's why he's gotten the recognition in the Circle of Success for Ameriprise Financial, because he's great with his clients. He's achieved a lot. Uh, he's a select group of high achievers, of financial advisors within the company. And anybody that's worked with him knows how good he is. Jeff Stillwell, there's his number, 732-343-0813. Also, some other fine people that are part and share a part of this program. And one of those would be Thomas Chevrolet. I tell you about Thomas all the time. You got savings that are available. You've got people don't understand. Consumer Reports has rated the Equinox very high, but sometimes it's about the dealership along with the vehicle. You can get also 0% APR financing available up to 60 months. It's a family owned business, it's a family owned dealership. And they're nice people. I've met them multiple times, and the people that work in the dealership have been there for years. Located at 1263 West Baltimore Pike in Media. 38 years in business says a lot. And it's Corvette season. And Thomas Chevrolet is a certified Corvette specialist dealer. Corvette has always been, I guess, in a lot of people's thoughts. You got the Corvette, the Equinox, the Silverado, some deals on different vehicles, Traverse, the Tahoe. Service department, great guys, do a great job, and they'll service any vehicle. Thomas Chevrolet, great selection. And don't forget, they have a great selection of pre owned vehicles as well. You don't want to go quite for the new vehicle. The pre owned vehicles at Thomas Chevrolet, 1263 West Baltimore Pike in Media, Pennsylvania. And the phone number 610-566-8600, or check them out on the internet, thomaschevy.com. Also, another fine partner, sponsor of this program, Piazza Property Pros. Now, you're thinking about it. You better not think too long, or you're going to have to wait. If you want a pool, they can give you a vision virtually. They can look at your property, kind of map it out for you, whether it's the backyard, whether it's the front of your home, whether it's fencing, whether it's building a pool. They can do all of it. 25 years of experience for Piazza, and they don't subcontract. So they've been around for a while with their experience. So whether it's fencing, hardscaping, landscaping, pool maintenance, building a pool, and if you want to build a pool, better get in touch with them soon. You're thinking about it. One thing you want to do is talk to them about it. 610-566-2600. Call them for a free consultation, and they'll explain it all to you. And if you want to do it, you shouldn't wait. That number again, 610-566-2608. Piazza Property Pros, piazzaoutdoor.com. It is so much fun to talk to people that enjoy the conversation, and I think Don Mattingly I enjoyed the conversation. I think looking at a lot of the comments, people enjoyed the conversation. Uh, Great baseball guy. Again, players have to play the game. You can help in some way, but the players have to listen to you to play. Let me also mention our winner. I want to mention our winner from Saturday. Uh, Mark Lawrence mentioned coaches that are successful in the tournament. The most successful, he mentioned Patino, Painter of Purdue, and Sean Miller. And there was multiple people with the correct answer. The winner got a commemorative card that was made specifically for an event here in Philadelphia, and Charles Barkley has signed that card. Brian Wojnarowski. I guess that's you guys come up with these tough names. Wojnarowski. Hopefully, I pronounced it right. If I didn't, I apologize. But You are the winner, and thank you for participating, and thanks for listening and watching the program. I'll have a question coming up uh, from something Don Mattingly said for the Mike Schmidt baseball. All right, there's a couple of things that I want to address. I want to address the Hall of Fame thing. And there's people that get into the Hall of Fame now that really don't have what what should be recognized as Hall of Fame numbers. I think Scott Rowland was a terrific player. He didn't have Hall of Fame numbers. Look how long it took Jeff Kent to get in the Hall of Fame, and he had Hall of Fame numbers. Same thing with Dave Parker, and he had Hall of Fame numbers. But I'm going to make a comparison. I did when I had Brett Boone on. His numbers and Chase Utley are similar. Everybody is Chase Utley, goo-goo over Chase Utley making the Hall of Fame. Chase Utley was a really nice player for the Phillies, very good player, but he's not. But he had a window of really of good years, but he's not a Hall of Famer. All right, I'm going to make if Don Mattingly is not in the Hall of Fame, I'm going to compare Chase Utley's numbers: 16 years to Don Mattingly's 14 years. All right, Chase Utley had 1,885 hits. Don Mattingly had 2,153 hits. And remember, he played two less years. So he had more hits. His average lifetime, 307. Chase Utley, 275. Don Mattingly's RBIs is about 75 more than Chase Utley with 2 less years. Lifetime average, on base percentage is better. Everything is better. And here's another key, which, I mean, he won an MVP, and that doesn't automatically get you in the Hall of Fame. However, very good player, and Don talked about him having injuries at the end of the year. He won 9 Gold Gloves. 9. Chase Utley has zero Gold Gloves. He was an average at best, Chase Utley, an average at best second baseman. And Tony says Chase Utley had a broken hip. I don't care what he had. He doesn't have Hall of Fame numbers compared to Don Mattingly. It's ridiculous that Mattingly's not in. And if Chase Utley gets in the Hall of Fame, it's a joke with a guy like Don Matt. And there's other players the same way. Chase Utley does not have Hall of Fame numbers. All right, I wanted to address that. I want to also mention in baseball. I don't know what John Middleton's doing. He took away Harry the K's, and he made it a corporate sponsorship. Ghost, whatever. It's Harry the K's, the greatest baseball announcer in Phillies history. No question. Wonderful guy. It's a part of your history. It's not all about money. But now here, and I talked about that on Saturday. Here's the latest. Apparently, there's a clock in center field. I think it's right around where the Liberty Bell is, that after the All-Star game, they're going to take out of there. And John Middleton's point is, and the point is foolish. It says, well, who looks at a clock anymore? You have it on your phone. Don't you know about tradition and history, John? That clock came from Connie Mack Stadium. He even talked about watching Johnny Callison hit a ball off the clock and got an inside the park home run. It was on the scoreboard in right field. It's tradition. It's a part of your history. What are you going to do? You're going to put another advertisement up there? I mean, it's just not. Well, people don't look at a clock anymore. It's not about, hey, does Fenway Park? I mean, do they? I still don't think they have an electronic scoreboard. They still put the numbers up physically by hand. Well, yeah, why would you do that? You got electronic. It's just Chicago's Wrigley Field. They kept their history. It's about history, not about money. It has nothing to do with people not looking at the clock. Actually, when I'm in an arena or a stadium, I do look at a clock every once in a while because my phone might be in my pocket. So I don't always look at my phone. I mean, it's just, what are you taking away the history and tradition of this baseball team for? All right. One other thing. Actually, there's multiple other things I want to mention. The Eagles, more one-year contracts. The tush push is back. They didn't even have a proposal to take it away. So the tush pushes back, obviously, because the Eagles didn't have as much success with it last year. But the tush pushes back. So people be happy. But I think the tush push is a joke of a play. And it's almost impossible to officiate. But the Eagles still haven't done anything yet. The only reason I'm going to mention A.J. Brown is because I'm not going to mention A.J. Brown because it's ridiculous, all the conversation about A.J. Brown. The NCAA tournament will have Mark Lawrence on Saturday. We'll talk more about the tournament, but there's 4 games the next 2 days, and I will shortly post my picks for tomorrow's game, and then for Friday's game, I'll post them on Thursday. The picks and your donations go to the Brandywine Valley SPCA and Providence Animal Center. And my picks will be posted. And the picks page is sponsored by Maroney Custom Clothing, which is what I'm wearing and what you see in the picture there. I'm wearing a Maroney suit and a Maroney tie, or a Maroney shirt. Not a Maroney tie, Maroney shirt and suit. But my picks will be posted shortly. And thanks for making your donations. All right, the question for the Mike Schmidt autograph baseball, and I have a comment coming up about a story that just won't stop. And I'll get into that concerning Sports Talk Radio and WIP. All right, the question to win an autograph baseball signed by Mike Schmidt, and you go to howardeskin.com by midnight Friday, March 27th, and Saturday I will announce the winner. Don Mattingly talked about the toughest part. Interesting answer. The toughest part of a 162 game season. The toughest part of a 162 game season. That's the question. Submit your entry to my contact page at howardeskin.com. And the correct answers will be selected. People with the correct answers, a winner will be selected at random. I see a comment here, and thanks. I see a comment here. King, the Connie Mack Stadium clock was a classic. The fact that it is in the bank is awesome. That's Citizen Bank Park. Taking it away is a travesty. Does John Middleton, who grew up in this town, not know about history, not know about tradition? And is it all about money? I just got to think we're going to put some kind of advertising sign up there. All right. Thanks to Joe Gangemi and for the technical stuff. Thanks to Tony Anastasia for the graphics and the website. But I have a comment, a story that just won't stop, and I feel like I've got to deal with it. I made a point on my show with Angelo Cataldi a couple of weeks ago, and reactions just keep on coming. Want to address an issue that came up. More evidence, and this was my opinion, of one of the things I said, that Sports Talk Radio is in trouble, won't go away, and lacks the quality it used to have. Another layoff, or call it a firing, call it what you want, just happened or is about to happen at WIP. And it's, again, more saving money because the revenues aren't the same. David Yageroff, and I know most of the public don't know who David Yageroff is, but he's the market manager, the senior vice president of Odyssey WIP in Philadelphia. He announced he is retiring in May. I laugh. He's retiring. This is total BS. He was told, I'm sure, that he was done. Laid off, in essence, fired. Call it what you want. The company is getting rid of expenses, and in this case, big expenses, because revenues are down, because talk radio is just not the same. And I've said that. Here is the favorite quote of men when they are let go, or the announcer, whatever it is, that fired, whatever you want to call it, laid off. Here's the quote. And this is from David Yageroff. I want to spend more time with my family. What? That's nonsense. And it's that's BS. And that comment is used a lot when somebody is either pushed out or fired. Also said he will look for other opportunities. I thought you said you were retiring. So is this not voluntary? Obviously, it's not voluntary. The bottom line, and here's the bottom line, the business is in debt. Odyssey is hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. They declared at one time Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and they're continuing to reduce their expenses. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not replaced. The position is not responsible for the success of the station. It's not the same as it used to be. It's not, that position is not responsible for the success and the previous success of WIP. And I wouldn't be surprised if Odyssey has more to come. All right, I want to make this clear. I'm not angry with David Yageroff, but disappointed at him with the lack of loyalty to me by himself and the company. And the others I have heard from, and actually have heard from a few people today that worked in that company, that express the same, they express anger because they just didn't like the way they exited and the way he kind of did things with them. I worked with every department and others the same way. I gave 38 years with that company, others many years as well. The problem I have is a lack of loyalty. And if you're a good guy, which many people question when it comes to David Yageroff, loyalty is important. The company let go of approximately 500 people in 2025 across the country. And all of those people, and I know I did, and I know the people at WIP worked very hard. But again, no loyalty. David Yageroff is really not retiring. He got what he did to others. He was at times not honest and straightforward with people that I heard from. But unfortunately, that's the state of the business in radio and in the companies, and in part now, local television. The new media world are podcasts. It's not radio, and it's certainly not sports talk radio. It'll exist, but on a smaller level. Honesty for me, spending almost all my working life in radio, some in TV, it's really sad to see what's happening to sports talk radio. But now I'm here doing what I've done my entire career, and that is having fun and keeping it real. Thanks for riding with the King, and thanks for joining the Howard Eskin Show. Take care. Have a great night and a better day tomorrow, and I'll see you on Saturday.
Yes, K-I-N. Oh, yeah. Hey, you turn it up, Philly. It's time to roll on the ones and twos, taking full control. From the link to the X, from the sixes to the fields. One voice cuts through, giving you the real. He broke the stories, he started the fire, launched the whole game back in '86, never retired. Heroes crown him, yeah, they call him the king. Fur coat flashing, bling bling in every ring. He's the hardest working, great talking dog. Call in with your tape, but don't get it wrong. He'll call you a nitwit if you're acting a fool, but deep down you love it. That's the Eskin rule. Riding with the king, yeah, we're riding with the king. Howard Eskin Show, let the truth ring. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, he knows the deal. Philly sports royalty, bow down and kneel. Riding with the king, put your hands in the air. From South Philly streets to the Delaware. No filter, no fear, just the facts on the mic. It's the Howard Eskin Show. Let's go get sight. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king.